link between war and debt. And debt is accumulating in the US. And in the US, there will be elections next year. So will the debt crisis have an impact on the decision to support Ukraine by the next government?
U.S. politics is basically a plutocratic state where public policy has been taken over by several powerful lobbies, each one devoted to its specific area. And they keep the control over U.S. policy through campaign contributions, because our election campaigns are funded by billionaires and by corporate lobbies. And they cost about $15 billion now for an election cycle. And you may have seen George Soros yesterday said, I give my empire to my son. And the son said, I'm going to fund the Democratic Party. Well, that's the billionaires that he'll put in hundreds of millions of dollars. $1 billion would not be surprising in the 2024 election. And then there are other billionaires. And so what are the lobbies? Wall Street controls financial policy, and our health lobby controls our unbelievably expensive private so-called health system, and our ag lobby controls the food industry with about 60% obesity or overweight in the United States, another huge, very serious public health crisis. And the military-industrial complex controls foreign policy. Not just military policy, foreign policy. So we have perpetual war and trillion-dollar military budgets, 900 billion in the Pentagon budget, but there's a lot more. There's the CIA, and there's Homeland Security, and there are many other categories, Department of Energy with nuclear weapons and so on. It's maybe $1.2 trillion a year. So that's on the spending side. On the revenue side, we have unanimous agreement among the billionaires. Don't tax us. It's very simple. So we have a low tax collection in the United States, and this spending on the military, for example, which has cost about $6 trillion in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and some of the other wars. $6 trillion. It's a lot, by the way. It starts to add up a little bit. And so our debt crisis comes from a broken political system. It's not so interesting, Democrats and Republicans, by the way. That's a little bit a children's game. The oligarchy is, the plutocracy is both parties. And I lost interest in the because it's basically a game that is below our intelligence. And this is our problem. Now, we will have rising debt in the future. It's a big country, big economy. We can spend a lot on wars. There's been no public debate for a moment on the $120 billion that has been spent so far. This has all been just bits and pieces inside omnibus legislation. So we can't get a debate on anything because there is no debate. There'll have to be another appropriation for Ukraine. They'll try to put it in a must-pass bill so that it's not really debated and can just be snuck in, because there's no interest in asking the American people anything about any of this. There's no attempt at deliberative democracy at all. No debate at all. So the answer to the question is I'm not sure, because there probably has to be another vote, but they will try to make the vote so that nobody notices, and it's just part of some omnibus legislation that funds Social Security, something or other. Won't be Social Security, but it'll be something that has to pass, and it'll just get through. That's how it's done in general. If it came to an actual vote, it would probably be defeated. If there was actually a debate in Congress, do we really want to spend another $50 or $100 billion on this? It would probably lose. They know that, but they have the convenience of avoiding any kind of public debate.
All right, thank you so much. So we have some more time to exploit your knowledge.
Dr. Sachs, we in Canada are deeply grateful to you for having the courage to speak out like you are. I'm from Canada. I'm here in Vienna to attend the International Summit for Peace in Ukraine that was organized by a number of important international peace groups. While I'm here in Vienna for the peace conference, my Prime Minister and Deputy Minister are in Kyiv announcing another $500 million package for weapons to Ukraine to prolong this tragic war. I am wondering what your suggestions and solutions are to end this war and to bring about peace. Thank you.
Second, Homayun. Yeah. Okay. Whenever, please.
Yes. I was surprised when you said you thought if there was a package of money that it would actually not pass, given that every Democrat has gone for as much money as the White House is asking for. And so I wonder if you think that that is changing because public opinion is actually changing. And then I wonder if you could also tell us about your weekend at the Vatican.
Mm-hmm. So, Homayun.
Thank you very much.
Microphone.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Professor Sachs, for your excellent explanation. Actually, you are confirming what we think, actually, in that sense. I have two small questions. One is coming back to Professor Hans Gärtner's remark on Minsk Agreement 2 and the idea of neutrality. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of papers within the various institute, think tanks, etc., United States and European countries. My question is, what was the main, or what were the main reasons that they were brought against the neutrality of Ukraine? Because I think this is a major point. Because if the country would have accepted neutrality, we would not have this disastrous war and suffering over 100,000 people, innocent people and civilians. The second question is coming back to your economic background. I always wonder because looking the last economic development of the United States after the Second World War and II, I think probably you will agree with me that there are a lot of poverties. There are more slums. There are more people who are begging on the street. My question is, why the people are not coming to the street and asking for their rights, for basic rights, not human rights? I mean, of course, economic rights are human rights, but my question is, why the people have not come yet to the street and asking more for their rights? Thanks.
We had a more general statement on peace, then the question on